I'm standing in the heart of the Mojave Desert at the Kingman Airport in Kingman, Arizona, about 150 miles southeast of Las Vegas. It is the perfect setting for a world-exclusive, unbelievable event you will only see on Ripley's. Tonight, we're going to drop the world's largest rubber band ball from an airplane more than a mile high, 6,000 feet in the air. Where will it hit and what will happen to this massive ball of rubber bands, more than 6 million of them, once it slams into the earth? These are all questions we will try to answer before the ball is pushed from that Skyvan aircraft right over there. But the truth is, this has never been done before, and no one, not even the physics experts we've consulted, can tell us exactly what will happen. I want you to meet the man who created this enormous ball. This is Tony Evans. He has come here to Kingman, Arizona, all the way from Swansea in Wales, which is where he created this oversized ball of rubber bands. Welcome, Tony. It's nice to meet you. One obvious question. Why did you do this?
We just started building the rubber bands, and then we had a purpose of doing it for special needs children, and we just took it from there.
Well, that's great. Well, now we know why he did it. Let's take a look at how he did it. 6 years ago, a now retired Tony Evans was working as a taxi dispatcher where he was often bored on the job. So he began making a rubber band ball. But back then, he could never have imagined where his creation would eventually take him. At first, the ball was just a hobby, but as it grew larger, it became an obsession for Tony, taking over his life and the home he shares with his wife and family.
When he first started making the rubber ball, I thought he was a bit mad.
Soon, Tony was getting so much attention from his rubber band ball that he thought he might be able to use it for a good cause.
It started getting so big that I decided to try and do it for charity.
Tony began taking the ball to special events, raising charity money for special needs children. This inspired him to go for a new goal, attempting to set a new world record for the biggest rubber band ball. But where would he get his supplies?
I got in touch with a national paper, and they ran an article, and I got supplies from all over the country.
With an almost unending supply of materials arriving daily, Tony was soon spending even more time on the ball. But his wife Liz didn't share his enthusiasm.
The rubber bands are everywhere. They get on my nerves. The smell from the rubber bands.
I spend most of my time in the workshop doing bands to put on the ball, and I think she feels that she's a rubber band ball widow now.
Despite his wife's protest, Tony's passion for making the ball was unstoppable, and before long he was closing in on a world record. At a ceremonial weigh-in at the Millennium Stadium in Wales, Tony was officially recognized as the creator of the world's biggest ever ball of rubber bands, an unbelievable 2,600 pounds, 100 pounds more than the old record.
The dimensions of the ball now are 51.5 inches in diameter, 14 foot 8 in circumference, and there's approximately 6 million rubber bands.
And moving a ball of this magnitude around isn't easy. But when Tony sees children's reactions to his giant creation, it's worth it.
There's lots of reactions we get, mostly from the kids. They just couldn't believe, they were amazed at the size of the ball. Not so much the weight, but the dimensions of it.
Tony, that is unbelievable. Now, do you have any reservations at all in doing this? Because I understand you put a lot of hard work into this, 6 years.
It's my baby, but I got confidence that it's going to bounce.
Oh, so you think it's going to bounce?
I really do. I go against all the experts and I say it is going to bounce.
Oh, I love it. All right, Dean, this is the ultimate fantasy, and we're going to see it firsthand when we drop this 2,600-pound ball from an airplane 6,000 feet in the air. Dean?
Thanks, Kelly. We'll check back with you shortly. Now, sometimes Ripley's has to travel around the world to find a story unbelievable enough for our viewers. But sometimes those unbelievable stories are right next door. Check it out.
300 people from all over the world are coming here to the Arizona desert to try something that's never been done before. A parachute jump so dangerous, it could either land them in the record books or land them in the emergency room. Because believe it or not, these guys are about to jump from 14 different planes, 20,000 feet in the air, to create the biggest skydive formation in the world. The 300 skydivers have converged on the town of Eloy, Arizona for this week-long attempt. In order for the jumpers to have enough time to link up in midair, they must jump from 20,000 feet. Any lower, and they risk crashing into the ground. Because the team is jumping from 7,000 feet higher than a normal skydive, everyone is forced to use bottled oxygen or risk the effects of altitude sickness, which could include blacking out. After 12 failed attempts over the last week, these daredevils are willing to give it one last shot. And they leap from their plane. The 300 jumpers have only 90 seconds to move into position while falling at over 100 miles per hour. After a few tense moments, the final skydivers move into place. One wrong move could send them all spinning out of control. This is it. They've hooked up, but how long can they hold the formation? Please don't try this at home. The center chute flies open, and after holding the design for 7 seconds, they've done it. 300 jumpers set a new Ripley's world record for the largest skydive formation. Believe it.
Walking down a flight of stairs, or up a flight of stairs. Easy. Try 170 stories. That's difficult. Now imagine doing that in a wheelchair. Well, this story will give you a whole new perspective on things. Canada's CN Tower stands over 1,800 feet tall, supporting 1,776 stairs. And believe it or not, this man is going to climb every last step in his wheelchair. One of 4 siblings raised in Ontario, Canada, Jeff Adams always felt at home on the playing field. But when 9-year-old Jeff's legs started to give out on him, doctors speculated that with a history of cancer in the family, Jeff might have a tumor pressing on his spine.
It was a tough time, but I had a great, very, very supportive family. My mom and dad were there all the time. And I can remember, spending 6 weeks on that cancer ward.
3 months pass before Jeff is given the bittersweet news. He does not have cancer. But doctors explain that he has a rare viral disease called transverse myelitis, causing his spinal cord to become seriously inflamed, preventing communication between his brain and his legs. Nearly a year of intense treatment and rehab follows, but doctors cannot reverse the damage that has already been done. And when 10-year-old Jeff finally emerges from the hospital, it's in a wheelchair. He'll never walk again. Jeff seeks comfort in a familiar world: athletics. His fierce competitive spirit drives him all the way to the champions podium at the World Championships and the Paralympics. But it's not all about winning.
All right, who's next? You up?
Working with children from all walks of life has become a passion for Jeff.
You see how he's jumping and using his legs for power? What you're going to do is you're going to use speed for power.
Still, despite all of his achievements, Jeff has grown increasingly frustrated with the lack of accessibility for wheelchair-bound people. His new mission is to spread awareness. So Jeff created Step Up to Change, a high-profile, mind-opening event centered around one awesome challenge. Can he become the first person to climb the world's tallest freestanding structure in a wheelchair? The media gathers to witness this mammoth feat. Showing his struggle with nearly 1,800 steps will highlight the difficulty of wheelchair access. The goal is intimidating. After months of intense preparation, from the weight room to stairwell training in different high-rises, the day of the big climb finally arrives. With an excited crowd cheering him on, and with Ripley's exclusively allowed to follow him on his climb, Jeff is off, aided only by a small crutch in one hand. This is not something you should try at home.
I'm using the muscles on either side of my body. I'm also trying to use both levels of the railing so that my shoulders are getting a break.
After 55 minutes and 400 stairs, his system is working like a charm.
So a quarter of the way up, feeling good.
Although his body is taking a beating, passing his 600th step, Jeff's spirit is soaring. Encouraging pictures and kind words from school kids cover the walls and help spur him on as he passes the 2-hour mark.
We just hit halfway. These guys have a little more energy left than I do. But it feels good.
1,500 stairs have passed beneath Jeff's wheels, and he continues fighting through the pain, determined to reach the top. Drawing on all his hours of strength training, Jeff knows the finish is within reach. The crowd is bursting with excitement, waiting for Jeff to arrive. And finally, 5 hours later, he makes it to step number 1,776. With one final push, Jeff has done it, climbing to the top of one of the tallest buildings in the world, a third of a mile into the sky, in a wheelchair.
Feels great. I mean, this was such a good day. Couldn't have gone any better. We surprised ourselves today.
Including his chair, Jeff weighs 165 pounds. He pushed himself up the more than 1,700 stairs. Now, if you do the math, that's equivalent to lifting 115,440 pounds.
Coming up, these risque rollerbladers are literally streaking by. You won't believe what's got them skating naked on the streets of San Francisco. Also, is the world's highest stilt walker about to take a fatal 60-foot fall on Las Vegas's famous Fremont Street? Watch as he gambles his life before hundreds of fans next. And we head back out to Kelly Packard at Ground Zero, where the Ripley's road trip is preparing to drop the world's biggest rubber band ball from over a mile in the sky. Will it bounce? Will it blow up? Never attempted before. Be there when Ripley's lets the big ball fall. Ripley's travels to the Netherlands in tonight's Ripley's World Tour. A 300-year-old tradition is now the latest competitive sport, making a huge splash in the Netherlands. Believe it or not, in an attempt to cross these ancient Dutch canals, contestants vault themselves almost 60 feet through the air. During the late 1700s, farmers wanting to gather eggs in fields across the wide canals would carry a long pole. Planting it in the middle of the canal and swinging over was the only way to get across. Today, these canal vaulting contestants are taking this age-old tradition to a new level. It starts with an explosive sprint 65 feet down the platform. Then a leap, followed by a grab at the pole planted in the middle of the canal. Balancing carefully, they must quickly climb up the aluminum pole. Competitors must get past the vertical point before gravity takes over and the pole and player begin to fall. They squeeze as much distance as possible from each effort by pushing away from the pole before landing in the sand. But not everyone makes it across. Winners soar as far as 55 feet.
He's been obsessed with bicycles. But recently, he's taken his fascination to a whole new level. Literally. Because believe it or not, Roger's built the world's biggest double-decker tricycle. And he's about to try and ride the 21-seat contraption. Roger Dumas has spent the past 20 years tinkering with these two-wheeled toys. Even setting a world record on Ripley's with a bike big enough to hold everyone at his family reunion. An amazing 55-seat cycle.
We did it!
But Roger wasn't ready to stop there. He began working on a bike design nobody ever imagined. Made from thick aluminum tubing, this futuristic-looking 21-seat cycle can hold up to 3,000 pounds.
Nothing was done on paper, so everything we had to do, I had to take and think about it and just build from there.
And today, they're ready to put the double-decker trike to the test.
Okay, everybody that's going
Roger, friends, and family climb aboard. But will the untested vehicle be able to withstand all this weight? So far, so good.
Okay.
Riders push, and the two-story creation slowly begins to roll. Everything's going as planned. But just as it rounds the first corner, there's a problem. Roger's bike busts a chain.
We're gonna lose it.
But refusing to stop there, Roger roots his team on.
Okay. Keep going, you're all right.
Unwilling to give up on the prototype's first public appearance, the riders push on.
Hey! Let's go, one more block!
Roger Dumas proves that the double-decker tricycle can not only support the weight of their friends and family, but can also endure a cross-town ride.
It was great. We went a long ways, and I enjoyed it.
There's a group of inline skaters on the streets of San Francisco turning heads because of their unbelievable uniforms, or lack thereof. This photographer is getting ready for a shoot like no other, because not only are his subjects speeding around on rollerblades, believe it or not, they're also speeding around buck naked. Shutterbug Jack Gushite has made a name for himself by taking great action shots. Now using his naked eye, he'll try to capture an artsy image he never thought possible. Nudes on the move. After a quiet early morning meeting, the San Francisco rollerbladers strip down to nothing more than their helmets and a smile. They begin under the beautiful Bay Bridge, where Jack is hoping to get just the right shot. But with cars everywhere and people all around, it won't be easy. Stripped bare and ready to roll, Jack leads the pack on a wild ride. But just when he seems to be getting some good shots, a cop on his own wheels catches the crew blading in the buff. Luckily, after Jack pleads his case, the cop lets the group go without any arrest.
Thanks, Officer Friendly.
Still searching for the perfect shot, Jack leads the overexposed thrill seekers down more of San Francisco's steep streets, even tackling steps. Finally, Jack gets just the shot he was hoping for. A one-of-a-kind, bare-bones action photo. No buts about it. Okay, we're just minutes away from making history here at Ripley's. The world's largest rubber band ball is about to be pushed out of a plane flying over a mile high. Now, what is being attempted is extremely dangerous and unpredictable. The speed of the specially designed airplane has to be just right, and the winds have to be perfect. Our team of highly trained experts has been working for almost an entire year preparing for today's big event. So let's go back out to Kelly Packard in the heart of the Mojave Desert, where the countdown continues.
Thanks, Dean. We are going to have cameras capturing every moment inside the plane before the ball is dropped as well. In fact, we've got 15 cameras covering this unbelievable event. Because of bad weather, we've had to continually postpone this world-exclusive event. But today, the weather conditions are perfect. It's almost eerie in the desert as the winds are calm and there are very few clouds. We only get one chance. If the ball isn't rolled out of the plane at exactly the right second, it could fall through the air out of control.
Let's have a good one. Let's have a safe one.
Yes.
Let's get it up.
With the plane and skydivers on site, the ball is now ready to be loaded in and flown to the drop zone. The eyes of the world are here tonight as we prepare to drop the world's largest rubber band ball from an airplane 6,000 feet in the air. It's a Ripley's World exclusive straight ahead.
The Ripley's crew gets a life and death shakeup when their chopper snags a power line.
The helicopter went end over end. I just knew there was no way that our guys were going to make it out of there alive.
And don't miss television history when Ripley's lets the big ball fall. Next.
always asking us if everything on Ripley's is true. And they always ask us, does anybody ever get hurt? Well, yes, everything we show is true, and yes, people do get hurt. For example, while covering tonight's rubber band ball drop, Ripley's hired a helicopter camera crew to document this historic event from the air. But unfortunately, something went terribly wrong when the chopper spiraled out of control after hitting some power lines on the way to the drop zone. What follows is a truly unbelievable story. The countdown to dropping the world's largest rubber band ball was underway. With less than an hour on the clock, it was time for the Ripley's road crew to make its way 30 miles west of the Kingman Airport to a 3,000-acre ranch that had been designated as our drop zone. Little did anyone know that disaster was about to strike.
We had to get our camera crews and the Ripley's bus over to the drop zone, so we decided to have the helicopter shoot aerial shots of the bus as it went to the drop zone.
The chopper takes off without any problems from the Kingman Airport. An A-Star airship equipped with a state-of-the-art gyron cam, which is mounted under the nose of the chopper. Its primary job, to track the rubber band ball through every inch of its fall. This is the actual footage the helicopter was shooting just moments before the crash. The power lines that would soon bring down the chopper are visible over the bus. The crash just moments away.
The next thing I knew, the helicopter was heading straight towards a set of power lines, and all I could do was look out the car window and yell, "It's going to crash." And there was a violent crash. The helicopter went end over end, and I just knew there was no way that our guys were going to make it out of there alive.
The chopper went down! The chopper went down! The chopper had caught its blades on the wires, which may have helped cushion the impact. Unbelievably, despite a tangled wreckage of twisted steel and shattered glass, everyone is alive.
Are you guys okay?
Yeah. And even more unbelievable, everyone is up and walking. The pilot is simply stunned.
Are you all right?
The first thing I saw when I got up there was our two crew members outside, and then out of the corner of my eye I saw the pilot climbing out of the wreckage. They all looked pretty shaken up, but they were alive.
Fortunately, we had paramedics traveling with our caravan. They were the first on the scene and started treating the crew just minutes after the crash.
It was total chaos. We really didn't know what to do because everyone was in shock, including Tony and his wife Liz, who we'd flown in from England to watch the rubber band ball drop.
There's no loss of life, right?
No.
No. There's no loss of life.
Stable.
Tony, everyone's good. That's all that matters. That's just a piece of metal. That's nothing.
Once treated on the scene, all three were taken by ambulance to the hospital in Kingman, where they underwent more tests.
The shoot was immediately called off. We had 3 members of our crew in the hospital, and out of respect for them, we decided that the shoot couldn't go on. But then we got a phone call from the hospital. It was Joe, our aerial photographer. He told us that he, along with the other 2 members of our crew, were being checked out of the hospital with only minor cuts and bruises. They wanted the shoot to go on, and they wanted to be part of the drop.
The world's largest rubber band ball is about to be loaded onto a Skyvan, an airplane specially designed for these kind of drops. A lot of what will happen tonight depends on extreme accuracy. So we filled a drum with water and dropped it over the exact spot that the rubber band ball will be dropped. Take a look at what happened.
Dean, strapped securely into the plane's cargo bay, the container is pumped to its capacity with over 500 pounds of water. A test run with this water barrel should allow the Ripley's crew and stunt coordinator, Wayne Snyder, to calculate the ideal drop zone for the rubber band ball. The plane is now in perfect position and ready to make the drop.
Green light, 3, 2, 1, exit.
Cool. Came up a little short. I think it lost a lot of water, probably lost some momentum from that. We're going to head on out and check it out.
In this replay, you can see the container smash into the earth with a crushing force, despite losing a lot of its water on the descent.
dead 80 feet off the center line, but it went way longer than I thought. And I think that ball will carry a lot farther.
By dropping the barrel, we now have an idea of where to position the cameras to get the best shot of the ball when it hits the ground. But we still don't know what it'll do. Will it bounce, break apart, or crater into the earth? We're just minutes away from the drop, and whatever the outcome may be, it's sure to be spectacular. Well, let's get this plane airborne. Good luck, guys. Dean, the next time you see me, I'll be at the drop zone waiting to see what happens when the world's biggest rubber band ball falls from the sky.
Don't budge. We'll be back to watch the ball fall next.
Amazing stories and unbelievable people. Ripley's been or not.
We've reached the moment of truth. The 2,600-pound rubber band ball is in the air. Kelly Packard has repositioned herself at the drop zone, but a safe distance away from where the ball will actually fall. Or so we think. Kelly?
Crews loaded the ball onto the plane just moments ago. They should be getting close to the drop zone. Let's talk to Brian, our ground control, and find out. Can you talk to the plane?
I can.
All right, let's see what we got.
Hey, Sean, where are you?
2.8 miles inbound.
Okay, on course?
On course.
He's about 3 miles out. That puts him probably less than 60 seconds off the drop zone.
Okay.
And we're ready to go anytime.
Excellent. All right. Well, as you can see, the 500-pound, 65-gallon drum burst when it hit the ground. So what will happen when we drop the 2,600-pound rubber band ball? After seeing the test, I think it's going to explode. But no one knows exactly what will happen to this enormous ball when it crashes into the earth. It's almost time to find out. I see the plane. Let's all get into the Jeep. It's time for the drop. The moment we've all been waiting for is finally here. Let's do it. Let's wait for the countdown. Inside the plane, skydivers wearing helmet cameras get the ball ready for its trip. The straps used to harness the ball to the plane are taken off. Now the crew must keep the ball steady until the captain gives the green light for the ball to be pushed out of the plane. If it rolls out too early, the ball could rock the plane and the pilot could lose control. In the air and on the ground, everyone's ready. The pilot gives the green light and the countdown begins.
3, 2, 1.
2 skydivers have hold of the ball as it leaves the plane. One of them pushes away while the other stays directly on top of the ball. Watching as it falls at more than 400 miles an hour towards the ground. Oh, that thing's jumping fast! Oh, here it comes, you guys! Oh my God!
Pretty good shooting. And,
right there, guys! Coming down fast! Here it goes! Oh! Let's see it! Let's go! Woo! Oh. It's splattered. I didn't see it. Look at it! Yahoo! Hey! It's done it!
Look at my rubber bands.
Okay? Yeah, hi.
Look at my rubber bands.
Look! It made a crater!
Oh, look at the size of the orb.
Come here! Look at it! Wait, listen to it! The rubber bands are still snapping. Oh! Listen! Oh my gosh! Oh, this is so exciting, Tony! What was going through your mind as it was falling?
Heartbroken.
In this Ripley's replay, you can see the ball as it exits the plane and begins its descent towards Earth, falling through the air at 400 miles an hour. There's rubber bands all over. Look at this, all over. Okay, let's get one last picture with the ball. One word, unbelievable. The world's largest rubber band ball falls from the sky 6,000 feet up, and you saw it only on Ripley.
Let's take a final look at the ball as it's...